Chris Scalzo here with
Matt Howell.
On this episode of The First Run, Matt and I are going to discuss Steve McQueen's latest film, Widows. It's supposed to be like the heist film of the last few years. Sorry, Logan Lucky and Ocean's 8. We're also going to talk about the sequel, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Wreck-It Ralph is, I think, Matt, is it fair to say that's a fan favorite of this show? I know I certainly loved that first one. You saw it?
I very much enjoyed Wreck-It Ralph. I thought it was quite good.
So Disney Animation, not Pixar. Disney Animation returns with the sequel. And then, of course, it's that time of year where we're going to do our 2018 holiday gift guide for the movie lover in your life. So it's going to be a good one. So let's hear a clip from Widows. Sad face.
Our go date is in 3 days, the night of the debate. Now, all of our work is worth nothing if we don't move this money and fast. The notebook says $5 million. That's exactly the amount of money Mulligan was accused of taking in commission kickbacks. So over here we have $2 million, 20 Tupperware boxes, each box has $100,000 in $100 bills. It weighs 44 pounds. Now over here we have $2 million, 40 Tupperware boxes, each box has $50,000 in $50 bills. It weighs 88 pounds.
I feel like I'm in school. Tell me about it.
We gotta start thinking like professionals. We're in business together. There's not gonna be some cozy reunion. After this job, we're done. We have 3 days to look and move like a team of men. The best thing we have going for us is being who we are.
Why?
Because no one thinks we have the balls to pull this off.
So as usual, Matt, every episode is mastered for a particular listening experience. And of course, this episode is best listened to while plotting a heist after your significant other has been murdered. I know that's very particular, but it's still, that is the best way to handle it. Though I don't recommend you set those wheels in motion.
Right.
So
just let it happen naturally.
Exactly. So why don't you tell the fine folks at home, on the road, at the gym, wherever they may be, what is Widows all about?
Sure. So Viola Davis plays Veronica, excuse me. And she's married to Liam Neeson. Turns out that Liam Neeson is a thief, and he is killed along with his crew, stealing money from a dangerous gangster. Said gangster shows up, threatens Veronica, and says that she owes the money that her husband stole from him, and she enlists the help of the other widows to get it back.
Succinct and well told. So we've had a rush of heist films as of late, as I said, Logan Lucky, and then, of course, Ocean's 8. Steve McQueen, though, I think, you know what? I don't know where you land on Mr. McQueen. He's top shelf for me. All right. I think 12 Years a Slave is an instant classic. And then what else has he done? The film Shame, which is just that's a one-timer, a tough sit, I should say. His first film, I believe, too, his first feature, was it Hunger? Basically, that's what launched Michael Fassbender's career.
We watched it for the show, too.
There you go. And so I think he is top tier.
I really enjoyed Hunger, but I haven't seen Shame. And I haven't seen 12 Years a Slave either. I may have to turn in my card, but I'm just never, as I get older, I'm not really much in the mood to be depressed and hate humanity. So I'm trying to avoid certain things.
I've described 12 Years a Slave as the most beautiful, horrific film you will ever see. But I still, maybe when you're with the family for Christmas, you can
plus it out. Yeah, be like, hey, Mom, Dad, let's watch this.
Go rent the house that Jack built, and then maybe I don't know, Hereditary.
Happiness.
Yes. Okay, so all right. Well, we're at a bit of a disadvantage. You haven't seen 12 Years, nor have you seen Shame, but that's fine. That's fine.
That's fine.
So this film has gotten a lot of buzz, Matt. The kids at home, all the most important people are saying that Widows is a fantastic film and just is filled with Oscar potential nominations. Where did you come down on Widows? I'm curious because this may make or break the show.
Oh, really? It may make or break the show? Oh boy, that's a lot of pressure. So I'm going to come down on the side of the most important people, I guess. I really thoroughly enjoyed this film. I thought it was quite good. Although, as is my way, I do have a big but to this. If you're comparing this to the other heist films in the past, a lot of the ones that we really like, your Ocean 11s, your Logan Luckies, this is missing a certain degree of fun. It doesn't have that kind of caperish fun aspect to it. It's deadly serious through this whole thing. And interesting enough, McQueen wrote this story with Gillian Flynn, who is the same woman who did Gone Girl. And it's definitely got that kind of I hesitate to say modern noir, but I can't think of a better thing off the top of my head. But it's definitely got that sense of kind of just like crappiness of real life kind of stuff, you know. And it's got, and don't get me wrong, the performances are fantastic. The movie is fantastic to watch, and it's a very engrossing heist film. It's just, just if you're expecting that kind of lighthearted fun, let's see how they pull off the caper kind of thing, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Yeah, no, it definitely isn't that at all. But I don't think it's to the film's detriment. I don't think it's any less of an enjoyable, and any less of a viewing experience because it doesn't have a lot of jokes and gags interspersed throughout its ample running time. But I think this thing, man, I struggle to come up with a film that's been more perfectly cast recently, that I can think of. I mean, Viola Davis is fantastic in this. Liam Neeson, Michelle Rodriguez, Colin Farrell. One of my favorites in this is Daniel Kaluuya, who he plays the basically the brother of the gentleman running for the alderman, and he is his enforcer as well. But you'll recognize him. Basically, he was in Sicario. Get Out. I think really probably is what he's best known for at this point. Black Panther. So, but still. Man, I'm telling you about this. I can't remember the last time I walked out of a theater thinking, oh, man, I did not want this to end. I think the characters are so well developed, right? And each character is so well defined and performed that I just wanted to see what was next in all these characters' lives. Will it be as dynamic as what McQueen unfolds for us? No, probably not. But it's still, the thing is so riveting and you get so involved and so entranced. I was desperate to see what would be the next chapter, in this city and these people's lives. I mean, that's how well it's written, I think, with him and Gillian Flynn. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it is a riveting film. I think I would hesitate to say that I couldn't wait for it to end. I mean, I thought it was perfectly encapsulated the way it was. I wouldn't want to see any more of this. It's a long story, but I'd be interested in another chapter in these people's lives. Yeah, maybe it could be done, I guess. But yeah, I totally agree with you. It's a long film. They give it room to breathe, and it's to its benefit. And I want to say too, this film, McQueen balances and introduces a lot of different subjects in this movie. Similar to, though not as fantastical as Assassination Nation. Right. But there are a lot of heavy themes that he plays with in this thing. And I think that's one of the big strengths. He is able to expertly balance all of this stuff. It is one of the more relevant heist films I've seen. You couple this with Assassination Nation, which is a very, very different film. And then what is the Boots Riley's movie? Why am I blanking on the title? Thank you for Sorry to Bother You. Sorry to Bother You. Yeah. Right. So we've had a lot of smart films this year, and I actually think this is the best of all of them. I mean, he bites off a lot here, but I think he's able to chew it all. And I mean, he covers female empowerment, and you have thrills and suspense. There's turns, double crosses, and just the urban blight, race politics. There's noir. Like I said, I didn't want this thing to end. I wanted to spend the weekend with these characters in this film. I mean, and then he really makes some bold choices in this. And the way just the film opens with a mixed race couple that are middle-aged, I mean, with some serious tongue action by Liam in this thing. I don't know. But still, it is... I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed this thing. And again, it's not doing particularly well. It's currently underperforming. And it is a damn shame that people are going to see some others. I mean, Fantastic Beasts is doing pretty well. Oh, by the way, not to
just to get off a tangent, Venom worldwide box office beat Wonder Woman and Guardians of the Galaxy last week.
Wow. I still haven't seen Venom.
Oh, good God. Anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand.
Let's.
Widows.
Windows.
Windows, the radio guy from The Thing.
Hey, that's exactly where I was going with that too.
But Steve McQueen, I think, delivers another top-notch entertaining film. And I think this is a must-see. Go to see this in the theater, folks. You will not be disappointed. This is a throwback to those kind of 70s Sidney Lumet kind of just instant classics. I really think it's that good. I'm giving Widows an A-. I think if I had any issues, I felt that there were some points where the pacing didn't quite work, but just fleeting moments when I had maybe one or two things where I'm like, yeah, I don't think this particular moment really works. Right. But when the film hits, it knocks you on your ass.
Right.
So there's a couple scenes. Obviously, we don't want to be spoilers where I actually gasped in the theater.
Did you clutch your pearls when it
Basically, happened? I did. The way he deftly just focuses your attention on what he wants you to see, and then obviously there's the illustration of all the shots of mirrors, right, in the different angles, and I mean, there's just so much going on in this thing. I think it demands repeat viewing. So again, A- for me for Widows.
Yeah, I give it an A- as well. I'm with you. I'm not really surprised that the box office take isn't that, because this is a certainly has a niche appeal kind of thing. It doesn't scream wide audience, but if it has, I think we've seen a lot of smart films, but I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, what are going to be the Oscar films this year? Nothing immediately leapt to mind, although but we don't have a whole lot of the year left. So I'm kind of wondering what it's going to be. But I think, once this I think this will get some acting buzz. I think it will get some nominations. So when that happens, I think people will catch up with it. So I guess better late than never. But everybody should go check this out.
Oh yeah, for sure. And another thing too. How about McQueen's decision too to show Elizabeth Debicki, right? This tall. What is she coming in like 6'2"? How she towers everybody. But like I think everything that from what I've read, every other film or role that she's been in, they've hidden her height.
Oh, okay.
It's like, let's just do this. All right, let's lay it all out. We're just going to show you. And, it's just, that was one of the moments I had an issue with her doing some of that stuff. There's no way that woman's not going to stand out in your mind, if you're investigating. Yeah, there was a 6'2" blonde model-esque woman here in Chicago that was buying some guns.
Yeah.
But still. Perfectly cast, fantastic decisions, and McQueen orchestrates this thing just perfectly.
Okay.
Widows, not Windows. Just an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. As always, we would love to hear your thoughts. Let's move on and talk about what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD this upcoming Tuesday. But first, here's a clip from one of the better releases.
Since this mall opened, C.R. Anthony, J.C. Penney, and even Duke and Ayers have all pulled out of downtown Virgil. Shoppers here will go wherever the bargains are, wherever it's convenient to shop. They don't care if they shop in a funky old building downtown or in a clean, modern place like this. See, they're wise to advertisers' claims. In a place like this, they can comparison shop.
Everybody could hardly wait until the mall opened.
Said Margie Ortiz.
I go there just about every weekend, so do two of the other girls from work.
See? I told you.
There you go, Matt. That is, of course, a clip from True Stories being released from the Criterion Collection. That is the sole feature film effort by musician David Byrne. I've always been kind of a hovering Talking Heads David Byrne fan. I have a couple of his solo albums. I have a few of the Talking Heads albums and the greatest hits. And I recently just kind of dove in a few months ago into all of his work and just appreciating it more and more. So, in fact, I saw him in concert here about a month and a half ago, and it was a fantastic show. Touring his new album, America Utopia. I don't know if he's still touring, but if you get a chance in your area to see it, it is quite an experience. So Criterion is releasing True Stories, includes a brand new 4K transfer and a whole bunch of featurettes, including a new documentary about the film's production. And I believe they just released the first full version of the soundtrack like a week ago as well, to correspond with the release of the film on Blu-ray from Criterion. The John Cho film Searching is being released as well. Includes some featurettes about some of the Easter eggs in the movie, audio commentary as well. We were both big fans of Searching, correct?
Yeah.
Good. There's a film called The Little Stranger with Domhnall Gleeson. This guy is kind of a gothic horror film, is being released. Got a limited theatrical run here. It's out for a few weeks. I wanted to check it out, but I never got a chance to catch up with it. But now it's coming out in Blu-ray and DVD. The new, I believe it was a TV version. I don't know if it was Australia or in the UK. But Picnic at Hanging Rock, starring Natalie Dormer from Game of Thrones, is being released. Blue Underground is releasing a brand new 4K restoration from the original camera negative of Zombie, Lucio Fulci's classic zombie film, the unofficial sequel kind of to Night of the Living Dead, and includes the full uncut presentation of the film, new audio commentary, a new making of featurette featuring some new interviews, and a bonus CD featuring the soundtrack from the film. I bought it when Blue Underground released this about 4 years ago. And from what I understand, this new transfer is supposed to be stellar. So if you're a fan of Zombie, you may want to consider upgrading. I don't know if I will. Part of the charm of these movies, too, is the low quality sometimes of the films, right? So I'm still on the fence on that. Criterion is also releasing Orson Welles' Magnificent Ambersons, boasting a brand new 4K restoration with the uncompressed monaural soundtrack, 2 audio commentaries, new interviews, a couple video essays, interview with Orson Welles on the Dick Cavett Show from 1970, and a bunch of other stuff. Arrow is releasing the Robert Altman classic Gosford Park, featuring a new 2K restoration from a 4K scan, and a brand new whole bunch of featurettes, including 15 deleted scenes with optional commentary from the director himself. And the first pressing has an illustrated collector's booklet featuring new writing on the film. MVD, which has been releasing kind of these more smaller, well, I don't know if I should say that, but cult films from the 80s and 90s. They're releasing Basic Instinct 2, including the original R theatrical version and the unrated extended cut, as well as an audio commentary by the director and 10 deleted scenes and an alternate ending. Scream Factory is releasing a box set of Critters, all the films. Matt, I have never seen a Critters movie. Have you?
Yes, I have seen definitely the first one, and I think the second one as well.
Yeah, okay. So I think there's 3 of them. There's 4.
Yeah.
All right, and they're all here. Now, if there are other Critters movies, pardon my ignorance, people, but you're going to get all 4 films that I know of in this set. Includes a new 2K remasters of the movies, new audio commentaries as well, and some other featurettes. So I should clarify too. Critters 3 and 4 do not appear to have 2K masters, probably just regular upgrades to that Blu-ray. Altman's another Altman film, Brewster McCloud, is being released, starring Bud Cort and Sally Kellerman. There's a double feature of Munchies and Munchie being released together. You remember Munchies, which is kind of that Ghoulies, E.T. kind of ripoff.
Yeah, there were a lot of those. Thanks.
Gremlins. I don't know. Well, that's coming out as well. MVD is also releasing Memories of Me, starring Billy Crystal and Alan King. And then there is the 4K release of Philadelphia, Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington. So you can get that on 4K finally. Your straight to DVD pick of the week is going to be Ouija Death Trap. High school student Raven decides to reconnect with her elementary school friends, Coda, William, and Jessica, by bringing them to her new workplace, the legendary and allegedly haunted Shadowview Manor. They decide to attempt some amateur paranormal investigating, but after playing with a Ouija board, the teens discover that the stories are true, and spirits they have awakened are very real. Cashing in, of course, on our boy Flanagan's rejuvenation of the Ouija franchise. I guess we're going to keep seeing these damn Ouija movies.
Hey, man, that second one was good.
Damn was. So should we be streaming this week?
Oh, man. I've been waiting for this. So Amazon Prime, they are killing it right now. So I'm going to throw out a bunch of suggestions for you, and you're just going to have to bear with me. So there is a nice trifecta of really trash cinema, and there's some quality trash cinema on Amazon Prime. But I'm going to recommend our boy Charlton. You can watch Soylent Green, followed up by the Omega Man, and something completely different, a really cheesy 80s slasher film with a really terrific ending that still creeps me out just looking at it. Sleepaway Camp. But the real thing that I'm super excited about for this, and I've wanted to catch this movie for a long time, and I finally caught up with it, and it is fantastic. Badlands is actually available on Prime. It's Terrence Malick's first movie, starring Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek as lovers who kind of tear on a crime spree across the Midwest, and it is fantastic. So if you haven't seen it, you should check it out.
That's good. So I want to bring something to your attention too. The AV Club today on Twitter posted an article about Canopy. Are you familiar with Canopy?
I am not. Oh, wait. Yes, I read about this earlier today, but continue.
I did not know this even existed. I don't know if my library participates. I hope it does. But it's basically a free streaming service for classic and great films. I mean, Matt, I'm looking at this right now. There's Criterion stuff. There's a bunch of documentary, like I Am Not Your Negro. I am desperate to see that. That's on here. What We Do in the Shadows, Anita, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, a bunch of Criterion stuff. And I think the big thing is almost the entire A24 library is available on this thing. And it is free with your library card. All you need to do is sign up, put in your library card, and if your library participates, you can stream this on Roku and Apple TV, Google Play. I am shocked that I didn't know about this. So I'm going to be signing up for this as soon as possible. And they have a streaming service for kids as well. Wendy and Lucy is on here. La Ventura. I mean, there is so much great stuff on this thing. So make sure you check that out right away.
Do it.
The A24 library, Matt.
It's pretty sweet. Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on then. Let's talk about the sequel to one of my favorite animated films of the past 5 years. It's 5 years, right? 5 years? We'll say 5 years. Here's a clip.
Hi. Whoa, ladies, I can explain. See, I'm a princess too. Wait, what? Yeah, Princess Vanellope von Schweetz of the Sugar Rush von Schweetzes. I'm sure you've heard of us, so it'd be embarrassing for you if you haven't.
What kind of a princess are you?
What kind?
Do you have magic hair?
No.
Magic hands?
No.
Do animals talk to you?
No.
Were you poisoned?
No.
Cursed?
No.
Kidnapped or enslaved?
No. Are you guys okay? Should I call the police? Then I have to assume you made a deal with an underwater sea witch where she took your voice in exchange for a pair of human legs. No. Good Lord. Who would do that? Have you ever had true love's kiss? Ew, barf. Do you have daddy issues? I don't even have a mom.
Neither do we. And now for the $1 million question. Do people assume all your problems got solved because a big, strong man showed up?
Yes. What is up with that?
She is a princess.
So, of course, that's a clip from Ralph Breaks the Internet featuring Sarah Silverman. And basically what all the Disney princesses, right? Including Vanellope von Schweetz, because she is officially a Disney princess.
Oh, is she?
Yes. Good for her. So this time, Ralph is desperate to maintain his friendship with Vanellope because she's kind of Matt. She's tired of running the same race and she wants to expand her world, right? And then so Ralph says, well, no, he basically does some modifications to her game that causes a critical error and breaks her game. Mm-hmm. And they need a special part they can only get off of eBay. So they venture forth into the internets, which is, from what I understand, a series of tubes. And then go on an adventure and attempt to get that part to save her game. But Matt, this film is about so much more.
It is.
How do you feel about that?
So, Chris, I really, really wanted to like this film a lot. I really enjoyed the original Wreck-It Ralph, and this is good in parts, but I didn't find myself consistently enjoying it and laughing with it as much as I did from the original. And I think it has, I'm trying to put my finger on what it is, is I think the message is solid, but I think this film tries to do too much. And it's very interesting that you played that clip of the Vanellope interacting with the Disney princesses, because that entire sequence just did not work for me. It was not funny.
Interesting.
It really wasn't that great. I mean, it had some cute moments and it had some parts that were kind of like, like, yeah, haha, but it wasn't anything funny to me. I don't know. I think this thing kind of collapsed under the weight of its own ambition. I think it just tried to do too much. It would have helped if it was a little more focused.
Yeah. So two things. One, I agree with you conceptually about what you're talking about, but B, you're wrong about that particular scene. I think it's one of the better scenes in the film. The problem for me with that scene is it was spoiled because it was released a while ago.
Yeah.
And I was already familiar with it, but still, it's still enjoyable. And there's a more expanded interactions between all of them as well that I think is pretty good. But yeah, I think it's a little heavy on the messaging. Now, I think it's a great message.
Right.
But I think it attempts to get to a rather complex subject and illustrate it for an all ages audience. And I just don't know if it's successful enough in that endeavor. It's similar to Inside Out, right? Because Inside Out did a brilliant job of illustrating kind of what feelings are and how to handle them.
Right.
And this one is more about, well, I mean, I'm trying to say the best way to say this without sounding too, I don't know, how would you put it? I don't want to sound too, let's put it this way. There's been a blowback in certain corners of the internet, particularly in the alt-right, is about it being too SJWE, right? And it being too much focused on male, what's the word I'm looking for, man?
Male insecurities?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, I would kind of go the opposite direction of that. Obviously, is that I think if they had kind of more focused that message on what it was about, because it kind of wrapped up, I don't know. It just, I saw, kind of the end of the film and what they were trying to go with doesn't really mesh with like the beginning, the middle 3/4 of it. It just doesn't tie together to me.
I didn't have that issue with it. I just felt that it maybe didn't handle as deftly as it could have the core moral message it was attempting to deliver.
No, I agree with that, but I think the way to solve that would have been more focused on that message, and get rid of some of the more strenuous gee whiz stuff.
Or instead of the final confrontation and what happens to Ralph, which, let's be clear, folks, if you really spend a minute thinking about it, is downright disturbing. I mean, that is a Cthulhian kind of weird monster ending that is this writhing, almost sallow kind of esque thing.
Yeah,
at the end, which really just was for me a little unsettling. I gotta be honest with you, it was downright disturbing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Still, here's the thing, right? I enjoyed the film, but it's not quite as amusing or as fun as the first one. It's just not.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that Moore and Johnston, the directors, maybe unlike McQueen, who was able to chew everything he bit off, I don't know if Moore and Johnston were as successful, unfortunately. It's still a lot of fun at times. It had some interesting moments, and I appreciated the message.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish they could have handled it a little more deftly than they do.
Yeah, I think they were kind of torn between let's make a clever joke about the internet and kind of technology and all that kind of stuff, but also let's then pivot to this heady message that's frankly a little complicated for a kid's film. It's not quite as focused as the first one was, where it's kind of something you can understand. And I think you're right. I think that's a good way to put it. They bit off more than they can chew. A for effort, guys, but execution didn't work out as quite like you hoped it would.
Another thing too I thought was, smarter people than me can figure this out, but I felt even the product placement portion of it was really much more forced than it was in the original film. When they get into the internet and you see the different icons of commerce and capitalism there,
sure.
I just it's like the Googles and the Amazons and all that stuff. It seemed much more almost like paid product placement than it did just a washing yourself in nostalgia, kind of like what the first film did. I guess maybe that's the issue, right? Because the first one was focused on the video games and the characters, and this one we're actually dealing with entities and businesses and corporations.
Right.
So yeah, that didn't really work for me as much either.
Yeah, there's a lot that didn't work. Just again, they just tried to cram too many messages in here.
Yeah.
People are mean to you on the internet. You got to let your friends go and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's like, where are you going with this? Like, what? Pick a message and just deliver there, guys. That's
Yeah. I mean, I still enjoyed it, and I think the animation is top shelf as always.
Yeah.
Still, amusing and funny enough for me, man. I'm giving Ralph Breaks Internet a B.
Yeah. I'm gonna be
B minus C plus from you here.
Yeah, I'm thinking B minus. I'm gonna be a little generous and give it a B minus. But on a bad day, you could, if I was in a worse mood, I could go C plus pretty easily. But yeah, I think B minus.
Still, John C. Reilly, great. Gal Gadot too. Excuse me, it is Gadot. Forgive me.
Oh, it is.
I wasn't sure if it was Gal Gadot, but it is indeed her. So,
who was she? Oh, she was
Shank.
Shank, right? Yes, Shank.
So, good times. If you had a chance to see Ralph Breaks the Internet, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. We really petered out there, didn't we?
We did.
Professionalism.
It is. It is.
We are not hacks. All right, we're going to talk about now one of my favorite segments that we do on this show every year, which is our holiday gift guide. And listen, I'm about to play you one of the weirdest clips that you will ever hear on this. It's kind of out of left field, but it'll all make sense. So enjoy this. Let's put it this way. If my father ever actually listens to the show, he is going to be delighted. Take a listen.
Rose, it is not here.
Look again, it has to be.
Rose, I have read every want ad in the paper. Mine is not here. Are you sure you dropped it off at the newspaper office?
Dorothy, you told me exactly what you wanted me to do a dozen times. Any idiot could have done it.
I know, honey, but you were the only one going downtown. Are you sure that you dropped it off at the newspaper office?
Yes, 6 people already called while you were out. Hey, give that to me. I'll try and find it for
you. Dorothy? Have we met?
Not yet. I'm here because of your ad in the paper. Willing to do anything, $8 an hour, no job too big or small.
Yes, of course. Please come in. I'm sorry, I didn't expect people to actually come here. I just figured, that I would be going to them.
That's the way it'll work in the future, when my video camera gets back from the shop.
So tell me, what type of work is it that you need done, Mr.
Toto.
Mr. Toto.
Oh, no, Mr. Just Toto. You're Dorothy, and I'm Toto. At least for the next $8.
So there you go. That is a clip from The Golden Girls. My father used to love that show. I think mutual friend of the show, Carrie, I think she's a big fan of that show as well. I think most women of a certain age are a big fan of The Golden Girls. So that's my first recommendation for you. It's a twofer because I like to cheat.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the Golden Girls edition of Clue, which is available on Amazon.
All right.
Would be a lot of fun to see that, Rose killed somebody with a candlestick in the library. I don't know. There's something about that that I find it intensely amusing. And the other thing, too, available on Amazon is The Human Centipede, ugly Christmas sweater. So it's just all Santas linked. So if you want to really disturb people at your holiday party at work this year.
Yeah.
The Human
we
Centipede.
usually have an ugly Christmas sweater party at work. I think I'll forego that one. I try and be pretty clever, but I'm going to skip that one.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What do you got?
All right. Well, I'm going to cheat a little bit too. And fun fact, the Golden Girls were actually supposed to be in Ralph Breaks the Internet, but they were cut.
Oh.
Anyway, so I'm going to break the rules here and just have an honorable mention. I really wanted to include this, but IFC has a film center in New York City, and they actually sell something called Cinemetal t-shirts, and they are freaking awesome.
My number 4.
It was your number 4, okay. But the reason I didn't include it is because you can only get them at the actual IFC center in New York, so that kind of limited it for me. So but I did want to throw it out there for anybody who's close to the Big Apple.
What are you talking about? You can buy them online, brother.
I was just on their website. It says you can't, and there's no link to it either.
I'm on cinemetalshirts.com.
See, I went to ifccenter.com merchandise, and they are not there.
No, there's. I may get the Carpenter's shirt.
Carpenter's shirt?
So it's They Live characters, but as the Carpenters.
Oh.
There's the Almodovar Aerosmith shirt, the Bellatar Black Flag, De Palma Def Leppard, Fassbender, Metallica. My favorite though is the Herzog Danzig shirt. They had this at the draft house that I was at in the Carolinas a while back.
Yeah,
and they didn't have my size, unfortunately, or I would have bought it for sure. And also the Kubrick Kraftwerk is a good one. And then of course the Von Trier Van Halen.
Yeah,
the Von Trier stuff, that news that's come out makes me feel a little icky about that. Jodorowsky, Judas Priest. So yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. So yeah, no, go to the site itself.
Okay.
Cinemetaltshirts.com. So it's Cine, like cinemas, and then metal t-shirts. Free shipping on all U.S. domestic orders, Matt. And the shirts are about $30. So you can still pick them up.
Very good. All right, well then I'm gonna continue here. I'm gonna steal some more of Chris's thunder. You ready? Because I know this is gonna be on the list.
Don't do it.
So with Filmstruck being gone, wah, wah.
Come on, man.
Do you want me to stop? Because it's gonna be your number one.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, I'll stop. So then my number, whatever number we're at, I'm gonna go for a twofer of a pair of books that you can get on Amazon.com. You can have Eat What You Watch, a cookbook for movie lovers, along with cocktails of the movies. So they have recipes of things that obviously appeared in famous movies. You can get a recipe for such things as the Big Kahuna Burger, as well as the Dude's White Russian from the Big Lebowski. Each have anecdotes in our kind of glossy coffee table size book. So maybe not super practical as a cookbook, but a neat little thing for somebody who likes to eat and drink and watch movies, which that should be everybody who's listening to this show.
I like that. Making my own Big Kahuna Burger.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right. So you ruined my Cinemetal t-shirts. You've blown my number one, basically.
I didn't go very far. We're fine. We're fine.
Whatever, man. You ruined my holiday. All right, Matt. What is the most entertaining action franchise of the past 15 years?
John Wick.
No. More than two.
Fast and the Furious. I'm gonna.
More than two films.
Oh, Mission Impossible.
Yes. And now you can buy. Well, actually, I think it's next week. You can get the Mission Impossible box set in 4K. Every single Mission Impossible film. Each one is good. Part 2 is the weakest of the series, but it's still good. And if you buy it as part of this set, Matt, you get the Ethan Hunt case file for a limited time, which takes you inside Ethan Hunt's most impossible missions. So I am not going to upgrade because I own them all on Blu-ray, and I just last week pre-ordered, well, actually Black Friday, because it was cheap, it was only $20 for the 4K. I pre-ordered Fallout. So now's your chance, though. If you don't own any of the Mission Impossible discs, you will not be disappointed. You haven't really lived until you've seen Tom Cruise run with arms just karate chopping. That's right, pumping those arms. So that's my number 3 is the Mission Impossible 4K box set.
Okay. So my next one is a streaming service, and we may have more than one of those on the list. We'll see. But this one is Shudder. It's a horror movie only streaming service. But why I'm throwing it out there is because it's super cheap, y'all. For less than $50 for the entire year, you can get access to all kinds of horror films, from classics to absolute trash that everybody loves. So if you're got a horror fan in your life, for $47.99 for 12 months of streaming goodness, you can sign them up for Shudder.
I think they're about to get Mandy too, like really soon. So that's a good chance to check it out. Yeah, I think I've mentioned Shudder in the past. That's why I didn't bring it up. But
probably have. You probably have.
So my number 2, and I'm excited to announce that I'm getting this for Christmas.
How do you already know?
Because I had to buy it.
No.
Because it was part of the Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble, where you get 50% off and then another 10% off if you're a member, which is, I think, the only way you can justify the $300 price tag. But it's the Ingmar Bergman collection, which includes 39 of his films, as well as a gorgeous 248-page book. Matt, this thing is massive.
Yeah.
And it's set up like a film festival with opening and closing nights, bookending double features and centerpieces. And this selection spans 6 decades. It includes Seven Seal, Persona, Fanny and Alexander, both theatrical television versions, Dreams, The Right, Brink of Life, which are all films that were previously unavailable. New transfers, I believe, as well, of the Seven Seal and some other ones I'm blanking. Virgin Spring. So just classic stuff. My Bergman experience has been rather limited. I think I've only seen 3 or 4 of his movies. So I am stoked to be able to be getting this for Christmas. So, but it's my number 2. The Criterion sale runs until December 2nd. So if you only want to pay $150 for a $300 set, now's your time.
There you go. Very good. All right, so my next, I like to throw out movie decorations. If you're watching this, you can see Chris. He's got stuff in his house right there that he shows his love of film. But Society 6, which is kind of like an Etsy sort of for artists that can put up their own designs for shirts and prints and things like that. And a particular store by the guy goes by the name of Art Boy Vince. He's a Dutch artist based in Amsterdam, and he makes some fantastic minimalist movie posters and art prints. They run the gamut from $10 to a poster for a poster to about $65 for a canvas print. And they run from classics like It's a Wonderful Life and The Godfather to absolute necessities that I think I might have to own, such as Blazing Saddles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or my absolute favorite is Cool Runnings. And the Cool Running one looks pretty dope. So go out and check them out. If you have a room to decorate for the movie lover in your life, go out and check these out because they are really cool art prints.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that as well, so I'll have to look into that. What was the other site too? I think I mentioned it a couple years ago, where it's the chart site where they do posters and they do charts of different events and films and Pop Chart or something like that.
That's right.
So yeah, that's another cool one. All right, Matt. So why don't you tell everybody at home what's my number 1?
Well, so
your honorable mention for some reason.
It wasn't my honorable mention. I was gonna combine them together as streaming services with number 3, and I was just doing it early because I had a feeling we were gonna double up. But here we go. So Filmstruck, Chris, is on the way out. It's done, and everybody's really bummed about this. But don't despair, folks. The Criterion Collection is coming up with its own streaming service, and for right now, you can become a charter subscriber. First in line for this, and you'll get a reduced subscription fee for for the entire life of your subscription as long as it's active. So you'll pay only $9.99 a month or $89.99 a year, about 20% less than anybody else will. So you should definitely check it out if you're into that.
You know what? That was one of the big things too. So this Christmas, I had said I am going to get a Filmstruck subscription. That's like the big gift I want. Obviously, there's the Bergman box set I wanted, and then the other big thing too, though separate from movies, is the David Bowie "Loving the Alien," which is the pop '80s part of his career. That set came out, which has some great stuff in it. If you're not familiar, first off, the '80s albums have finally been remastered, but it includes a reimagining of "Never Let Me Down," where they took Bowie's vocals and then re-recorded all the music. And then a whole bunch of 2 new live albums that have never been released. Well, one of them, I think one on DVD, the other one not. And then some other remixes and a bunch of other stuff. So those were what I wanted. But the other thing was going to be Filmstruck. And then they announced, it's been about a month now, that they were shutting it down because Warner is greedy as some bitch on bait. And they're going to try and go a different route with their streaming. So Criterion has picked up the flag and they're running with it, and they're going to offer their own streaming service, as Matt said. And I've already signed up to be a charter member. And I think at some point early 2019 is when they're going to hit you up and say, all right, well, if you're in, you're in. Let's time to pay. So I think is it March 2019 when they think they'll be up? I can't remember. But early 19. And as Matt said, $90 a year. I think I'm finally going to pull the trigger. And also, too, it'll stop. Here's the thing I wonder about. Will I buy any more Criterions after that?
I think there'll be a select few that you will, just because you really want them on the disc or Blu-ray or whatever. But
physical media is still king. That's true.
But I think you'll be much more selective, because you'll see the ones that like you have never seen before and you just want to check out, so you buy them.
Yeah.
You'll be able to stream them, and you'll be able to put them in a queue and then never watch them, just like you never watch the ones that you buy.
That's right. But it's true. There's a bunch of stuff that I've purchased too. I'm like, man, I'll never have another opportunity to see this unless I buy it. Well, that may no longer be the case.
Right.
All right. That's my number one. You got one more?
No, that's it.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. I shuffled things around because I combined Shudder and Criterion Collection together.
Right. Good times. Well, those are your list, folks. If you're wondering what to get the movie love in your life, I think you're covered. If we're missing anything, if you have other suggestions, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. And we'll, of course, post them on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. That's where you can find us as well. You can watch a recording of the show on YouTube. Sometimes you can watch the actual, like us talking back and forth. Other times I just load up an audio clip, depending on my mood. A boy can change his mind. That's right. And I'm also slowly loading older shows into the YouTube channel as well, so you can check those out. And I've actually started to curate them and make playlists. Like there is a superhero playlist right now in our YouTube channel. Oh. So if you want to hear or watch our discussions of every superhero movie we've talked about, well, it's a playlist for you, and you can skim right through it.
That's got to be a long playlist.
It. So as always, shoot us an email, feedback@thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear from you. Twitter, as we said, Instagram, Facebook. Scroll. Eventually you will find us. Go over to Apple Podcasts and give us a review. And I will, of course, read it on the air. Next week, Matt, I'm going to let you choose what we're going to do. I am going to see Creed 2 and Fantastic Beasts. We're going to have a guest next week.
Yep.
Mia's mini reviews on Twitter. She's going to be joining us. I believe she's out on the Northwest Corner. But she was supposed to join us a couple weeks ago, but unfortunately things fell through. So now we're excited to finally get her, and she is chomping at the bit to talk about Fantastic Beasts.
All right.
So we'll be discussing that. I'll see Creed 2. Matt, see whichever one you want, but I think Fantastic Beasts might be good because we'll have that guest.
Sure.
But whatever you think. And then there's a ton of stuff on streaming that we have to catch up with. So we'll see how that all shakes out. So that's going to be the big show for this week. So we are going to take an extended break, and we'll see you all soon.
Hey, wait! Help us out over here! Ah!